Okay, this is Duelist bringing you map 3 of the Chaos March planet being attacked by Duchy of Small, Elgin, which is one of the most important planets in the entire star map. We are tied up 1-1. First team that gets to 3 victories successfully attacks or defends the planet. Taking the defense of the planet is the Wolverines Rebirth Mercenaries. This is a gigantic rolling hills map. If you can picture Nebraska or Kansas, this is basically it. A bunch of plains. We have a Thor C, Madcat Echo, Warhammer A, Duchy Prime, Mechwarrior Prime, Chimera Delta, Cougar Prime, Uller Prime, and Owens Prime for the defenders. For ELH, we have Thor C, Thor E, Thanatos B, Madcat Echo, Avatar A, Novacat Prime, Chimera A, Puma Prime, and Raven B. Hi, Bayard. Burner's streaming. Okay. If you want to provide commentary with me, I'll be the play-by-play guy, and if you want to make some comments here and there, feel free. Okay, so we have Northwind, a wide open map, both teams taking ridiculously long-range stuff. And even with C3 BHP radar and missiles galore and direct fire weapons, this could take 3/4 of the map just to find each other. And it's not guaranteed that you're going to get those missiles through because both teams are probably expecting missiles and they'll bring in lambs. It's certainly hard Bayard to hit the enemy when they take a Morgu or something else that has those double lambs. Now it looks like Silvercraft is playing the role of scout and some sort of Owens here. Polgy and the rest of the group, the Wolverines Rebirth are wide spread, and Silver has found 9 enemies and he is gonna run. They fired off 2 PPCs. I think both of them missed. Polgy is now staring them down in the Chimera. I do not believe this is the Light Gauss and ELRM 15 ones, so he is backing up a bit. Alright, good. So anyway, we see that Wolverine's Rebirth team is setting up a bit of a firing line. Bob in a Madcat, which is a very, very dangerous asset. I believe this is the Madcat A. Madcat A is a rather good long-range Madcat. Bayard, I see you use it rather often. Yeah. Oh, okay, roger that. And Silvercraft under massive attack here. He's firing off, I imagine, his ELRMs. I don't know if and there go the lambs. There's at least one. And he didn't get the hit through. Both teams exchanging ridiculous long-range fire at this point. The Wolverines Rebirth Mercenaries, led by Burner, looking to hold on to planet Elgin. They've had the Wolverines have had some success of late. They have captured, I believe, 2 neutral planets and successfully defended Genoa a few weeks ago. So they're trying to ride that momentum. In a long-range battle, it's all about positioning, Bayard. If you end up away from your team, you can end up getting shot by everything else, and it can be over quickly. Now it looks like Eridani is repositioning. Eridani is Duchy of Small. They're repositioning a bit. You can see that they have a jump jet PPC mech and just got a couple of hits. almost be teams feeling each other out. At this distance, they might not see or even see on radar specifically what they're fighting, so basically it's all about if you get a missile lock or if you get a hit, you shoot what you can. Can be particularly hard to focus fire on anything unless you've got very good C3 cover, and based on the way the teams are engaging, and it looks like they both have good radar cover, but they're being really cautious right now, trying to stay together in position, hit what they can, and then get back to cover. These rolling hills provide pretty decent cover, but Burner just got hit by a pretty good salvo there. Now, Bayard, for this kind of long-range attack, what are some of your favorite weapons to use when you fight an enemy at this distance? Now, it looks like they have lambs on the Wolverines team, but it also appears that their formation's a bit spread out. The lambs have to be pointing at the missiles, and they have to be in front of whatever they're trying to hit in order to be most effective. Now, it appears that Wolverines are moving up to close in. It looks like they have some closer, well, still long range, but closer range assets. We see Bob taking a couple of shots here. Set up some crossfire. Eridani's moving back to stay at max distance here. We see Gnome and GN King and Bob all trying to set up a flanking maneuver. Eridani sees it and is denying it, and there's not many players better in this game at using terrain to their advantage than Silvercraft, but even certainly with his skills and that owns, he has to be very careful here, Bayard, because that will not hold up well against sustained fire. It's 9-player versus 9-player. We're on map 3, so the battle value, which is a rating system of how much of a threat a particular mech is, has been set pretty high. The list is 2.6 out of a possible 5, and the battle value for this is set at 2.6, I believe, so teams are really able to start bringing in some heavy things. You can see the Direwolf, the Mad Cat, the Warhawk. Not in this particular list, but certainly some heavy hitting stuff for both teams. Eridani is moving to reposition here. You can see that Wolverines are moving in on them. Imp picking up the rear and keeping an eye out. Mr. Gray and the Nova Cat bringing up the other part of the rear. They are heading away at the moment. And we can see that they have a number of heavies here. They don't have any assaults. They'll be able to spread the damage that they take. They won't necessarily have to rely on any one unit compared to compared to the Wolverines, which have Ivan and some of the other players and some assaults, which if you take those down, you can lose a significant amount of your firepower. That seems to be what they're doing right now, Bayard. Eridani's trying to flank pretty hard left. Silvercraft keeping an eye on radar. Imp may be in firing range. Nope. I'll just zoom out a bit. You can really get a feel for the scale for this map. It's very large. There are certainly places for cover if you get down in the valleys and the hills, but even with advanced radar, Bayard, if these teams decide to move away from each other, it can be quite a while before they find each other again on such a large map. And yes, if you can negate some of the missiles with lambs or just with positioning, or even with range, the direct fire is very much having to get visual and then get down to cover, because you just never know how much firepower you're facing when you pop up. Which I think, even though jump jets are useful on this map, Bayard, is still really all about timing, like you mentioned earlier, if you're going to jump up, because you are exposed when you're in the air. Yep. Looks like, and Papscan's mech is... Oh, Gnome King is as good as dead here. He is down. So, 8v9 now. Eridani, yep. Antari's laying down as many missiles as he can, while the rest of Eridani repositions here. But for Gnome, it was just about positioning there. He got a little bit forward, and they got Antari's. You see how quickly he was in a safe position, and then he was crouched, so he couldn't get back to cover quickly, and that was the end for Antari's there. So we're down to 8 players each. You see how quickly a mech can go. That was a heavy... yes. You can see a number of direct fire weapons here. At this point, the missiles are kind of secondary. Even look at Ulwi. He just jumped up. He's pretty safe, but he took no less than about 6 different PPC or Gauss shots there. They took down another. Gnome King is joined by Polgi now, so it's 8-7 advantage for ELH. Eridon. Yep, they're trying to knock out that Angel ECM. They can see Papscan on radar. They can't see any of these other mechs on radar at the moment. It means that their missile lock-on time is that much more, and it means that visual scouting is very important right now for the Wolverines. And there goes Paps. They're now exposed now. Bayard, if you were ELH, would you stay radar hot, or would you turn your radar off at this point now that you've lost your Angel? Okay. Looks like Eridani, we were down to 7 players for each team. Eridani is now moving to flank along the coverage here, trying to move in on Deathy and some of the other Wolverines. The Wolverines are very spread out right now. Bayard, that is very dangerous. We can see that Zoidberg, the leader of the Eridani team, is flanking hard left, and I can imagine Burner, the leader of the Wolverines, telling everybody, get the heck back to us. Zoidberg might have some shots now. Zoidberg took a couple of hits. Eridani's trying to move together so that they know they're going to get shot, but that shots will be spread out between multiple mechs. Losing that Raven really hurts, because if you do decide to stay radar hot, the other team knows where you're at all times. Now, for the Eridani team, we can see that a few of the mechs... Yep. They've taken some pretty significant hits. They're also dealing out pretty good damage at this point. Those missiles are really going to come down to bear, though, and I think Eridani is very, very aware of that, Burner, because as soon as they pop over the hill, they have LRMs in their face. See Imp moving forward a bit. They're trying to get some direct fire. They see Ivan in that mech. I think that's what they're focusing on. Ivan being one of the best players in this game. See that Eridani's taking quite a bit of damage here by Art. Momentum could be turning now. NV-74's lost an arm. Imp's back armor is out. Of course, I'd imagine they've done some... Bob is now flanking. His ATMs and PPCs coming down to bear on Zoidberg. Eridani's movement as a team, they've played together for years, so when Zoidberg asks them to do something, he can be confident that his players will move right where they need to go, and you can see these double switches they're doing. They move forward, take a few shots, come down, the next few mechs come up and take, and communication right now, if they're going to turn this around, Bayard is critical. Keeping the communication lines open and following the chain of command. Now, Bayard, if you were Eridani right now, what would you be telling all your teammates to do to try and win this? That looks like possibly what they might be doing. Zoidberg moving back. They're all in cover, and he's telling his, I suppose, least damaged mechs to take the lead. Imp taking a couple of shots while the rest of the team repositions. Zoidberg telling his team to stay at max distance. Teams are taking some pretty good damage. Zoidberg is gonna get hit hard here. Oh, he got lucky. That was only one salvo. He did a good job of timing that to do damage and get out of there before he took too much. Both teams just kind of feeling each other out with the PPCs right now. I'm rather surprised, Bayard, that the missile barrage hasn't been a little more eminent. Certainly we see missiles going, but Eridani's moving well enough that the missiles are largely being ineffective at this point. Lambs on Deathy ate up the entire salvo from missiles, and somebody's down. Okay, Yulby's down. They lost an avatar. Down 7-5. Well, now... Yep, now down to 7-5 exactly. Zoidberg down. There goes the Imp down, and this is just a matter of time now, Bayard. Eridani's just going to sit here and fight as hard as they can. Maybe they can take down a mech or two, and maybe still turn it, but they're going to really... They're going to have to focus fire, and now they're just surrounded. This is most likely over. So it looks like Eridani is going to be down 2-1 and on the brink of losing the attack on planet Elgin. This is Duelist. This is Duelist and Bayard bringing you commentary, and we will now move on to Map 4. And we'll see what kind of crazy chaos comes your way in the Chaos March. For Bayard, this is Duelist. We'll see you next time.